Hello, good evening. Happy Tuesday. I'm Allison, and behind the camera making all the magic happen is producer Ken, and we are from Gotham Quilts. Welcome. So, you know, it's March. It's been March for a little bit. March is, I would say, arguably one of the best months in the whole year. Now, there are a lot of good months in the year, but March, I'd like to make the argument, is maybe one of the best, especially for us quilters. Now, not only are things starting to thaw out, and I sure hope they are wherever you are across the country. They are in Minnesota, which is lovely. So, not only are things starting to thaw out, but March is, by whatever metric you use, officially the start of spring. But even more important, and what I'm going to talk to you today about, is March is National Sewing Month, National Quilters Month. Now, a lot of you might wonder, where do some of these made up holidays come from? And I hesitate to call this a made up one because it is very important to us quilters. But where do these holidays come from? The story is kind of interesting, and it's been through a couple of different hands. So let's start off with that. As I mentioned before, March is National Quilters Month. National Quilters Day started out by the Kentucky Heritage Quilt Society. They wanted a day where they could celebrate quilting, share their love of quilting, show all the cool things that they are doing. And we've got some slides to go along with this story here too. So Quilters Day Out started by the Kentucky Heritage Quilt Society in, you guessed it, Kentucky. Now, this is a picture of their group. This is not the group from 1989 that started the group of the the Quilters Day Out in 1989, but this is a group of the Kentucky Heritage Quilt Society. They are still an active guild promoting their day out and a lot of other fun things to do. Now, Kentucky has a very, very rich history of quilters. You might have heard of Paducah. That is in Kentucky. So you see all kinds of great quilting examples in Kentucky. Now, in 1991, the National Quilters Association decided, that sounds so much fun, this Quilters Day Out in Kentucky, that we should make it a national thing. So in 1991, National Quilters Association passed a resolution to make National Quilters Day officially the third Saturday in March. So that following year, in 1992, we celebrated our first National Quilters Day. And it was celebrated by just basically encouraging quilters to show and share what they've learned, what they've made. People were encouraged to hang quilts out on their porch and just show how beautiful and fantastic the art could be. All the great things that quilters were doing. Now, unfortunately, in 2015, the National Quilters Association closed their doors, and so they dissolved. But the Quilt Alliance took up the mantle and decided that they were going to make sure that National Quilters Day stayed relevant and stayed a thing. Now, National Quilt Alliance, you might have heard of them, because they do a couple of really great things for quilters. They do a few things to share the history, to make sure that that history stays alive. And we can go to the next page here. Perfect. They have two different programs that are fantastic, and I highly encourage you to check them out. The Quilters Save Our Stories is a longer form. Those videos are about 30 minutes or so, and it's interviews with some more maybe a little bit more well-known quilters and designers. It also interviews people for very historically relevant quilts. And we're going to put up a QR code where you can head over to the Quilt Alliance page and check out those Quilters Save Our Stories. Like I say, they're great longer form videos to get some information and to keep those stories alive for those historical quilts and those very influential designers. Now, they have another program going as well, and that is the Go Tell It. You might have heard or seen some of these at quilt shows, for example, where they are much shorter interviews, about 3 minutes or so. People can submit their own interviews about quilts that are important and meaningful to them, something that they're very proud of. And so this one is called Go Tell It. You might see Go Tell It at the quilt show is a popular phrase. And so you might see them if you go to a quilt show interviewing people about their quilts. There are hundreds of the Go Tell It stories. And like I said, you can submit your own. So if you want to see some of those Go Tell It stories, check out that QR code, or you can check them out on YouTube as well. You can also use that QR code for Go Tell It to submit your own story. They give you instructions on how to record the story of your quilt, the quilt that that's impactful to you, and send it in, because we need to keep these stories alive of the quilters who make them, the designers who design them. But as of right now, Go Tell It, between Go Tell It and Quilters Save Our Stories, there are over 90 recordings for the longer form one and over 1,500 interviews in total. So needless to say, Quilt Alliance is doing some pretty important work. And so that brings us up to National Quilting Day today. Uh, really, so you might ask, how do I celebrate this made up holiday, right? And there are a number of different ways. First and foremost, just keep quilting close to your heart. But the first way that you could celebrate National Quilting Day and give back in the true spirit of which it was intended is to teach a friend. Teach a friend how to quilt, how to do something new, maybe a technique that you're familiar with and they're not. Just spread the love and joy of quilting. So first, teach a friend. Another great way is to label your quilts. The reason that Quilt Alliance felt that saving the stories of the quilts is so important is because there are so many quilts that were lost to time, that weren't signed, that weren't dated. And so we just have to do our best guess about what was going on at the time, who made them, and all of the stories that go along with it. So label your quilts. And I'll give you a little teaser for next week's Gotham Live. I'm going to show you a couple ways to label your quilts. So be sure, if you are interested in celebrating National Quilters Day this way, be sure to check out next week's Live with Gotham Quilts. So label those quilts. At a minimum, you want to have your name and the date on it. Everything else after that is just icing on the cake. Another way to celebrate National Quilters Day is to visit your local quilt shop. Now, of course, we're a little bit partial to this, but local quilt shops are some organizations that help keep quilting alive. They help keep it in the hands of the people who want to learn. They're great resources for some of those techniques that might be new to you. If you are a brand new quilter starting out, go visit your local quilt store. There are generally people there who are very knowledgeable about all areas of quilting. And it's a place where people congregate, both congregate to enjoy sewing, open sewing, for example, the community that's there, but also we really attract a lot of people who love quilting and are passionate to work here as well. So any local quilt store is going to be pretty much in the same scenario. Is we attract people who love the art and the craft. And so you're going to find a lot of really knowledgeable people in all different aspects of quilting. So visit your local quilt store. If you don't have one near you, there are some great online options too. I'm a little partial to Gotham, that's for sure. But there are lots of great options, both near and far and online and in person. So just find one that vibes with you, that you vibe with, that's got the same kind of feel for you. If you like a lot of hands-on attention, find that local quilt store that can give that to you, because we are all just very happy to help and happy to keep quilting alive, which is kind of the true spirit of National Quilting Day, isn't it? Another option is to host a sew-in. Now, there are lots of options here. You can invite friends over to your house. You can rent a community space. Another great way to tap your local quilt shop is generally, I know we have a classroom space that's available. Whenever we don't have a classroom, it's available for open sewing. I can almost guarantee your local quilt store is going to have something very similar to that. See if you can rent out their classroom if there's not a class going on. There's also lots of community spaces, lots of local libraries where you can rent out a community room. Host a sew-in where people get together. And if none of those are an option, just know that there are some fantastic advancements with like Zoom and Google Meet and things like that, where you can have that community even if you're not in the same place, the same building, or the same state even. So host that sew-in, get people together to celebrate National Quilting Day. Another option for you is to document that story. Again, this was such an important mission of Quilt Alliance organization to document the stories. So many of these quilts have been lost to time. So make a go tell it. This is a great month to start that. There is a quilt in your pile that you are especially proud of. I can almost guarantee that. So get someone to hang it, help you hang it up. And tell the story of that quilt, why you made it, why it's so important to you, how you came up with the idea or how you picked out the pattern along with the fabrics. Whatever is important to you about that quilt, document it, because these are important things that we don't want to lose to time. The sixth way that you can celebrate National Quilting Day, and this one I'm a little partial to, is break out of your comfort zone. That's Mars kind of in a weird place, but I'll kind of go down here. But break out of your comfort zone. If you've never foundation paper pieced, this is the month to start. If you are more of a neutral person, grab a bright hot pink and start sewing with that. This is a great opportunity to try something new. If you normally toss your scraps, keep a couple. Make a couple of crumb blocks. See if something sparks your interest and just grow your love of quilting. The worst that's going to happen is you spend some time doing something and you know it's not for you. Best case scenario, you find something that's going to broaden your love of quilting and get you through the rest of your journey with it. Next is Quilt for Charity. There are so many great organizations that would love to receive a donated quilt. Quilts of Valor is a great one. The Linus Project is another great one. Local hospitals, or especially children's hospitals. Quilts are such a gift of love. And so when you donate it, you are giving that gift to someone else. So do consider making a quilt for charity this month. There are, like I say, lots of great organizations that will donate and would love to receive your donation. Number 8, and only do this if it brings you extreme joy and happiness, organize your stash. Some of us like to, part of the craft is organizing and buying, procuring, and playing with the fabric, right? Sometimes that's what you get the most enjoyment out of. So if you are the kind of person who loves to organize your stash, or maybe you're the kind of person who just says, maybe it's time to organize that stash, spring cleaning, National Quilting Month is a great time to do that. Now I have, it was in a magazine a little while ago, and they interviewed a bunch of very well-known quilters, and they said, well, what is the number one tool you have purchased recently? And one of the answers that stuck out with me the most wasn't a tool at all. She said, I took the time to organize my sewing machine, or sewing room, excuse me. She took the time to organize her sewing room. And that was the best tool that she's had all year, is a clean sewing room. So if it brings you joy, if it brings you happiness, spend this month, take this opportunity to organize your stash, organize your sewing area, and make sure that wherever you're sewing, it brings you joy and happiness. Number 9, and this goes back to the true spirit of how that first National Quilting Day was celebrated, hang a quilt. You can hang it inside, you can hang it outside in a porch for all to see, but hang that quilt, get them out of the boxes and get them seen and adored by people. So this is another great way, like I say, it goes back to the true celebration, that very first National Quilting Day, and what they did to show and share their craft, and that was hang a quilt. And the last, not the last great way, but the last in our list to celebrate National Quilters Day is to upgrade your setup. There are so many great deals. A lot of quilting companies spend March giving you their best deals on some of those bigger purchases. And we're going to go through a couple of those options today here, but to upgrade your setup to make it the most enjoyable, the most comfortable it can possibly be, so that you could be sewing for a long, long, long time. So upgrading your setup is a great way to celebrate, especially with some of those amazing deals that are out there. And speaking of those amazing deals, I'm going to talk about one that's been sitting right behind me. You might have noticed it. And this is the Sew Steady table. Now, if you're not familiar with Sew Steady tables, they are very thick acrylic that are custom cut to go around your machine, and they give you a bigger workspace, a workstation. A lot of machines, now this Juki is a little bit different because it's got a big throat and a big plate here, but a lot of sewing machines have just a little bit of area. And so when you are sewing a big long strip, or you're putting on borders, or you're putting on binding, for example, a nice flat big workstation will help it so that those materials don't pull and tug, especially if you're working on something heavier. So the bigger workstation you have, the more room you have to lay things flat, and the better protection against wonky seams or your fabric being pulled either down towards your lap or back behind your sewing machine, which would either stretch out those stitches or make them go a little bit wonky, the better off you'll be. Now, this is probably the most popular table. This is the wish table. And the reason, I don't know why it's called the wish table, maybe because people have been wishing for it for a long time, but this one has a little drawer here, an acrylic drawer, to put all of these notions. Now you can see with that drawer removed, I have a nice big clear area here. That's the other great thing about these tables, is they also double as light tables. You put a light box or a light stick underneath here, and you've got a lovely light table. Light tables are great for if you are taping together patterns, for example. You can use that to line up where those lines are. You can also use it for applique or collage quilting, where a little bit of light underneath so that you can see the lines clearly through that pattern are really very helpful. And I mentioned the light stick only because that's part of the deal. Let me show you a little bit of the sizes here, and then I'll show you about the deals. So you can see that this is the wish size. This one is 22 inches, 22 and a half inches by 25 and a half inches. So it is 25 and a half inches this way and 22 and a half inches that way. This one is the most popular size, and it's going to be this green line right here. Now there is also a wish table that is the giant size, which is the purple line that's going all the way across and all the way down. So it is the whole size of this board here. That's the giant size. And then there are a lot of different sizes in between. The big one over here is a nice big square. So this is really perfect and helpful if you do a lot of free motion quilting where you need a lot of area all around it. But there are lots of different sizes. Again, this wish table is the 22 and a half by 27 and a half, this green line here. So let's talk a little bit about the Sew Steady table deal. This one is a National Sewing Month deal. You would get the wish table in this size that I have here. You would get the light stick that I was talking about to turn this into a light table, and you get a bag for travel or if you store it away, for example. All of that for $2.99, which is about $60 off of the normal price just for National Sewing Month. And so then that sale ends the end of this month with the Sew Steady table. So that ends on March 31st. Now, sew steady tables are a great way to upgrade your sewing area, to give you just a little bit of room. They're great for if you go to retreats, for example, because especially with that bag that comes with it, it's very portable. The legs are fully adjustable here, and they also come off very easily if you need to store it flat or bring it with you. But if you've got a little bit more room, or if you need something that's going to stay put in your sewing room, we've got some great deals on furniture as well. Because like I say, a lot of companies go in big on National Sewing Month. So we want to make sure you know about all of the options available. If you're going to get something big, March is a great month to get it. Now I'm standing here behind one of our most popular sewing cabinets. This one is called the Kangaroo and Joey. We're going to start with the Kangaroo, and I'll show you the Joey in just a second. But I'm standing back here because one of my favorite things about this cabinet is you've got a very large footprint in a very small package. This quilt leaf here drops all the way down. So you can see right now I've got a cabinet that's about 55 inches deep. But if I don't need that much space, or if I need to save on some space in my sewing room, I can move this quilt leaf, drop it down, and now I have a sewing cabinet that's about 21 inches deep. So you can see how much space that saved. I only need that big area when I actually need it. We also have a leaf over on the side that can drop down if you don't need this much room. But the coolest thing about the Kangaroo and Joey, I think why it's so popular, is you get the main cabinet and then it comes with this little pocket guy over here. And so this guy is on very heavy duty casters that you can keep in place or you can lock so that this doesn't move. And it's got 3 fantastic drawers in here with soft close on all 3. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way, the little Joey here, and show you another thing that's fantastic about these cabinets as well is they pack together, or they pack down very nicely. So you can see I've got my sewing machine in the upmost position up here. All I have to do is on this hydraulic, just give it a little bit of a push. Whoops, there we go. And this is flat sewing right here. So with the acrylic little piece, kind of like the Sew Steady table, but it's cut out specifically for these desks, I have a big, nice flat surface, and it's somewhere over in the shop. Now, I told you that there were some really great deals about the cabinets as well for National Sewing Month. For this one, you're going to get 2 freebies, and one of them is a free insert to go along with that, custom cut to your machine. If I wanted to put this away for the night, all I have to do is push down one more time, and he's all the way gone. Now there is a piece that goes here, or I would have my acrylic piece to cover up this hole here. So I can make this all kind of pack up nicely when I'm all done for the day. The last thing I wanted to show you about this cabinet is that if you need even more room than this shows you, this drawer pulls out. Thank you, Producer Ken. And there is a little piece that goes in here. I'm just going to plug those into the holes really easily here. There's a little magnet to keep this set. And now I have a whole extra area for sewing. So all of those reasons put together is one of the reasons why the Kangaroo and Joey is one of the most popular desks that we sell. Another one that's really popular is the Wallaby. And I'm going to move this chair here. Probably the most common piece of furniture in this shop are the Arrow sewing chairs. Now, these are fabulous. They come in a ton of different colors and designs. They are perfectly ergonomically designed to keep you sewing for hours and hours. So they've got a nice padded back. They also have a lovely padded seat and a super secret hiding place for some things. So these are really popular as well. But what I wanted to talk to you about is the Wallaby. This one has a slightly smaller footprint. It's got some of the really great things that we liked about the Kangaroo and Joey. You can push your sewing machine all the way down to store it. You can have it sew flat, and you can see right here, this is one with the acrylic piece in place. So you can see you get a nice flat sewing surface. You also have a quilt leaf. It's a little shorter a little less in width than the Kangaroo and Joey, but it's got about the same depth. This too lays all the way flat, so you're down to about a 21-inch footprint for your sewing machine once you put that leaf down. We've got some thread storage over here and a little bucket down there for some additional storage. But what people really love about this one is this little area here. And it's great for people who have sergers that they use. And I love this little drawer down here for some extra storage as well. This can close up nice and tight when we're ready to put everything away. Now these two cabinets, and there's one more that qualifies, will get you the free kiwi. Now this is one of the reasons why March is one of my favorite months, and that is it's free kiwi month. Oops, I lost my little board here. So the kiwi is a fantastic little piece of furniture. So with the purchase of either the Kangaroo and Joey or the Wallaby here, or there's one more that we'll show you in just a second, you get this guy. Now we've got 5 drawers here. 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers here. These two have the soft close, so they close really nicely. This is on the heavy duty caster, so it rolls around wherever you need it. You get a movable pressing mat, and you get a little mini cutting board. So this is great to have right next to you. You can press and cut to your heart's desire and stay in one of those really super comfy chairs without moving a whole lot. So again, with the purchase of either the Kangaroo and Joey, that first one we looked at, the Wallaby here, or producer Ken is going to show you an image of the next one that also qualifies, and that's called the Aussie. If you can sense the theme here, they're very Australian themed. You get one of these guys for free. It is an almost $800 value to get one of these cabinets, but if you want just the kiwi, they do sell separately, so you can get one of these too. A couple different colors that it comes in. You can get it in the teak that you see, or the white, the ash white, which would match just about any sewing room.
Lifetime guarantee.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Producer Ken is reminding me that these do come with a lifetime guarantee as well. So a great value for the sewing. And like I say, March is one of my favorite months because they bring back one of the most popular promotions that we've seen, and that is getting the free kiwi with the purchase of one of those cabinets. So if you've got some room, if you've got a sewing room to fill, do consider one of these. And so one of the benefits of getting it now through us is because we are porting all those products over to the Gotham website, we're going to give you that free insert as well, in addition to the free kiwi. So I appreciate you guys sticking with us as we're bringing these products over. Last week it was notions. Before that it was kits and books and patterns. So we are really filling out that Gotham website fast. So we can't wait for you to see what comes next with all those products. So if you want to shop the furniture, see what's out there, you would use this same QR code to take a look at the Sew Steady tables and take advantage of those deals. Or if you're looking to fill your sewing room, you can take a look at the furniture, get some of those dimensions that you might need. And there are some links to some really great videos if you want to see those a little bit closer up in person and action. So you can use that link to take advantage of the free kiwi promotion as well. So with that, producer Ken is going to help me with some of our housekeeping things. Thing number 1 is, I'm going to need you to remind me, we've got just a few seats left. We rearranged some things, we got some more books, and so we've got a few more seats for our collage quilting retreat. That is going to start on Friday, March 20th. It's a great opportunity. We just got the Gotham community site loaded and ready to go. We're sending out those retreat packages for everyone who is signed up this week. Tomorrow, the first round is going out, but it's not too late for you to sign up. We've got some spots available. And if I can be so bold, if you are on the fence about getting the fabric bundle with the book, or instead of the book if you already have it, do get it. It's a beautiful, gorgeous bundle. We used the cover of the book as inspiration and it turned out really well. It's going to be a great start to your collage quilting journey. And there's an extra special surprise in there. It's a full kit to make a collage quilting project. So you're going to get everything you need to start your collage quilting journey. So sign up. We're going to have to close that probably by tomorrow, I would say, to make sure everybody gets their package on time. So you've got just another 24 hours or so to register if you haven't already. The next one is to sign up for our April Thread Talks. It's going to be Wednesday, April 1st. No fooling. It's going to be Bianca Springer. She is a fabulous quilter and sewer. She does a lot of garment making, and she's going to talk to us about the future of quilting, which is laser cutting. She had a fabulous submission to QuiltCon using laser cutting quilting, so she's going to be a great one to speak to us about that and listen to. And then I think, we're done with the housekeeping things. So not too many things, but thank you so much for joining us in this National Quilting Month. Stay tuned next week. It's going to be same bat time, same bat channel. That's Tuesday at 6:30, and we are going to talk all about labeling your quilts. So I hope you had some inspiration on ways that you can celebrate National Quilting Day and National Quilting Month. We thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next Tuesday, if not before. I really hope before.